Welcome to day 17 of our 30-day wholesaling challenge. Today, it's all about building rapport with your motivated sellers. I'm going to teach you the 3 things you have to do on all your appointments, and I'm going to teach you 9 quick tips on how to build rapport with anybody that you converse with. But before I get into it, make sure you do me a favor. Make sure you smash that like button, you hit that subscribe notification button so you continue to receive the most up-to-date information on wholesaling today. So we're talking about rapport, and I'm telling you, this is the one technique which will either make you or break you in wholesaling. Listen, anybody can rattle off contracts, numbers, and do anything, but the ability to connect with people, which is what rapport is, it's your ability to physically touch another human being, because once rapport gets going, that's why the word rap is short for rapport. It's just natural. It flows, it feels right, and the reality is most people prefer to do business with people they like, people they connect with, and people they know. They will often overlook a lot of things if you develop that rapport. Now, if you make it completely transactional, you are nothing more than a number, and it's not going to make a tremendous difference in your wholesaling career. So think about this. How do we build rapport? Let's reverse engineer it. Talk about organic rapport. Talk about the best rapport we're going to have is with probably our family, right? We have natural conversations. Some are comfortable, some are uncomfortable, but it flows and you feel like you can be vulnerable. You feel like you can be open and you feel like you can achieve something with someone and you want to make it work out. That's how it works with family, friends, colleagues, your neighbors. Not all the time, but for the most part is how many times have you guys done business with someone you just have a great rapport with, but you have no idea if they actually have the skill sets to do what they say they're going to do. Why? Because once you connect with rapport, people will almost forgive you for anything because they want to do business with people they connect with. That's why building rapport is probably the most important skill set you can achieve when connecting with motivated sellers in your wholesaling business. So let's talk about what we can do to make rapport win. So let's talk about the 3 things that you can do before you go on your appointment, either physically or virtually. Some of it's going to relate to physical, some virtual, that you can do to set yourself up for the best rapport building as possible. So the first thing you want to do is what we call pre-intel. And that's a simple act of doing research before you go meet with your motivated seller, either physically or on the phone. Go on social media, look at their account, try to find things that they have high interest in, try to find family members. What it does is it gives you a good sense of what that person's all about, what they like, where they live, their hobbies, their recreations, everything. And by having that information, you know where to lead the conversation to try to find commonality so you can connect and create amazing rapport. You also want to go on your county websites, your county research, the property appraiser sites. You want to look up and see if the taxes are paid. And you can look at the financial history of the property to see if it matches up with what's going on in their social media. The more research you do, the more confident you are in meeting and conversing with these sellers. Step number 2 are the physical clues. So if you're going to go out and physically meet them at a property, make sure you do the basics beforehand. If you have a 10 a.m. appointment, show up at like 9:40. Actually, I get there a half hour early and I drive around the block. Why? Because I want to see what's going on in the neighborhood and I want to see what the sellers are doing before I get there. If I see them cleaning up the property and trying to get it ready, it's usually a good sign they just really want to get the property sold and make a good impression, which shows to me that they have a high motivation of trying to get a deal done with me. Sometimes they don't clean it up at all. Like honestly, by driving there early and getting there early, number 1, you show respect, and number 2, you get more intel without actually walking into the property yet. Other things I look for are like stickers on their car. Is there political signs out in front of their house? Is there a for sale sign out there? Remember, any actions the seller does, you can gain intel by getting there early. The sooner the better. I try to be discreet when I drive them by. I'm not like, hey, it's Rick, I got a 10 o'clock appointment with you. No, just drive by and make note of everything. Sometimes they're out there talking to the neighbors. Sometimes you see children involved. Man, this information goes a long way when you have to meet with the seller, because it is hard to walk in there with no experience as a wholesaler or not. You're already uncomfortable with what to say. So if you know if they have kids, if you see, stickers on there, maybe they love horses or something like that, it just gives you commonality. It will raise your comfort and confidence level when you meet with that seller privately. Then step number 3 is when you go into the house, if you're going in there physically, use the physical cues. Look on the walls. Obviously, you want to look at the roof and you want to look at the flooring for the condition of the house. house. Smell is a big indicator if you're walking into a good house, but you want to look around at the pictures, look at family photos, look at hobbies, look at places they've gone to, anything that you can strike commonality and use that as reference. So when you sit down and start striking up your conversation to build rapport, you can connect and move forward and give you the confidence you need. Because listen, if you do not connect with your seller by building rapport, your offer is not going to matter. People like to do business with people they can relate to. It's your job to go out of your way to make sure you are relatable. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to walk through the 9 tips I've learned over the last 20 years on really how to connect with anybody to build rapport. Obviously, it's going to work with your motivated sellers. And before I get started, the main thing is I know a lot of you guys go off scripts and stuff. I'm not a big fan of scripts. Scripts is a good training tool, but your scripts have to convert to conversations, because if you ask people yes, no questions, you're going to get no feedback. And honestly, it seems very transactional. Make sure if you're using a script, you know how to convert it into a conversation. And if you don't know what a conversation is, it means a free-flowing communication where both parties are participating. If you're just getting yes, no, or number answers, you are not having a conversation. You are in a script, and that is not going to achieve the rapport you need to get these deals done. So number one, simple mirroring. If your seller's talking fast, you talk fast. They talk slow, you talk slow. If they're standing up, you stand up. If they're sitting down, you sit down. If they're kind of leaning over like this, that's what you do. Don't ask me why, but what happens is you subconsciously start connecting with people, because the influence and the vibration between both of you has a tremendous effect. And people are like, man, he does kind of what I do. That's interesting. He's very similar to me. Subconsciously, they start building rapport without even knowing it. So mirroring is a key fundamental part. Make sure you do it with your sellers. Number 2, this is a huge pet peeve of mine. Use the seller's name, and don't just use it once. Use it as often as possible. It accomplishes 2 things. Number 1, ask people what name they like to go by. Some are Mr., some is Mr. Smith, sometimes it's just John. The more you know about your seller, the more you can relate to them. If you assume what their name is, if you mispronounce their name or anything like that, ask them for help on how to pronounce it, maybe even if you have to spell it, but it is a sign of respect. And if you butcher someone's name, I guarantee you won't get a deal. Number 2, by using their name, it is a check and balance to see if they're paying attention to you. When somebody hauls out your name, like screams it out, it automatically gets your attention. There's no difference with your sellers. The more you use their name, the more they're into you and the more focused they are on conversing with you and building a conversation. Use the name as often as you humanly possibly can, because it will always draw your seller back into you, and it is confirmation they're paying attention to your very important conversation. Listening. Oh, number 3, I can't overemphasize listening. God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth. Take the hint. Your seller needs to do 80% of the talking. You're at 20%, and your 20% has to be catered around asking very qualifying questions so you can figure out if they're a motivated seller and you can put a deal together. You can't do that if you're dominating the conversation. Make sure that you let your sellers talk 80% of the time. People love to hear themselves talk. By doing it, you are building automatic rapport. You don't even know it, but people like to talk. You already know that. You know I like to talk. It is hard for me to pull back when I'm dealing with sellers, but I understand the more they talk, the more information I can get, and the better they feel about this entire experience. It becomes more of a free-flowing conversation. Okay, number 4, you've got to show like genuine interest. So how do you do that? It really just comes down to asking high-quality questions. If you ask dumb questions, you're going to get dumb answers. So just make sure you go through the MCTP and you reiterate it, even if you've already done it on the phone or you've done it before. Make sure you anchor in what the qualifications for the seller is, so to make sure you're not wasting your time. And the higher the quality questions you ask your seller, the more engaged they're going to be, and the better your rapport and your conversation is going to be. Number 5, being empathetic. We're going to deal with a lot of sellers with a lot of problems in their life. And honestly, remember, real estate's just a side effect of what we do as wholesalers. The real issue we deal with human problems. And you're going to hear a lot of wild ones. I'm telling you, I could write entire books on this stuff, but you have to be empathetic, meaning you have to have a heart. You have to understand what they're going through, and you have to care. If you don't care, nothing you do towards building rapport is going to work. So remember, the person that cares the most about helping their sellers out will be the buyer for the property. End of story. Sellers know when you want to help them out. If you just want to help yourself out, it's going to come out and you're not going to get the deal. So remember, we have to help sellers get out of their own way and guide them through this journey of wholesaling. This is their biggest decision in their life. Being empathetic is huge and what will ultimately get your connection with your seller if you're a truly caring person. Number 6 coming in, authenticity. I don't need you to be anybody else. I don't need you to be Rick. I don't need you to be Zach. I don't need you to be anybody else. You just got to be you. And the key to being you is, number 1, being confident in yourself. You are here to create win-win situations for everyone involved. So many people take out of context what we do in wholesaling. I just want to help people out and earn financial freedom and get freedom on my time. And I know you do too. So doing that, trying to be someone you're not is going to make you uncomfortable and is going to shatter your confidence. So find out what your superpower is. If you don't know what it is, ask your family. Kids always know it best. If you're super funny, have funny. You make people laugh, you can never go wrong there. If you're really good at connecting with people and being empathetic, go with it. If you're great at stats and numbers, provide value and information to people. You see, the more you bring out what's special in you, the more you provide to the universe and the better off you're going to be as a wholesaler. Please be authentic because our industry is lacking this right now. And if people would just be themselves and not try to be Johnny Guru or whatever it is, they would do better off. People know when you're not yourself. Be yourself, find your superpower, and be authentic. Number 7, this one goes without saying, be honest. It's just easier. I learned a long time ago, it's just easier to tell the truth because I don't have to track the lies. If you constantly lie and you go, well, it's just a little white lie, it just builds and compounds, and that's how you create distrust. And it is the worst way to connect with a seller via rapport because your conversation, you'll be constantly in the defensive trying to figure it out. We don't know it all. I don't know everything. I admit to you guys, I've been doing this 21 years. Honestly, just be honest. If you don't know the answer, go, listen, I'm going to get one of my team members. I'll get an answer within an hour and I'll get you that exact answer, or you get it on the phone for them. And you'll get more credibility for being honest than trying to pass off some sort of BS lie. Bury your ego and operate with integrity. Be honest. Number 8, respect. You need to respect your sellers. There's going to be some points you definitely don't agree on, but that's not your business. You see, your respect has to be earned. And the only way to earn it is to listen to your sellers, provide solutions, and work with them and help them guide them through this journey of their biggest decision in their life. And if it's a win, great, it's a yes, we move forward. If it doesn't work out, it's a no, it's okay. You help them out either way. Guys, earn the respect. It is not given to you. You have to earn it. How do you do it? You pay attention, you honor your sellers, you show up on time, you be a professional, and you guide them through this journey. And number 9, probably my favorite part of this, is energy and enthusiasm. Listen, what you lack in experience as a new wholesaler is actually your superpower. You see, I prefer to do business with someone who has just an awesome attitude, high energy, just makes me feel good, always smiling, very enthusiastic, wants to go above and beyond to help people out. Those type of people trump anybody with experience. You see, a good attitude has to be at the table. A bad attitude and a lot of experience, I rather have someone with a super attitude with less experience because honestly, it's much more authentic and people feel it. I give people a shot all the time that don't have the experience but have a ton of enthusiasm and a great attitude. Why? Because I can work with them. And there's no difference with you. A lot of my first few deals I did not have the experience. People told me that. They go, but I love your energy. I love your excitement, Rick, and I just want to work with you. That's it. So if you look at your inexperience as a liability, I want you to look at your inexperience as an asset. What you have to make up for it is your energy and enthusiasm, especially if you're young. You got a lot of energy, excited about this. Let it show because your sellers will give you the leadway to guide them through the journey if you are super fantastic and they enjoy being around you. So I'm going to leave you with one last bonus thing. If you're having trouble connecting with rapport after all these techniques I give you, just go back and review it. It's all in freewholesaling.com. You can use the Ford method, and it's just an acronym for family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. If you talk about all 4 of these things, it's easy to open people up and get very personal with them. Use the Ford method. It's been in the sales industry for 50 plus years. It's not unique just to wholesaling. All companies use it. Family, occupation, recreational, and dream. So guys, let me know in the comments, are you using any of these techniques to build rapport with your motivated sellers? And honestly, what is stopping you from having amazing conversations? You need to convert your scripts to conversations. If you are having any success with rapport, let me know in the comments below if you're using these techniques. I would love to hear from you for what you guys use because I always learn from teaching you guys. I love working with you guys. This is Rick on day 17 of the 30-day challenge. We're talking all about building rapport with your motivated sellers. I'll see you in the next video. See you guys.